Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all about gentle skincare and sometimes self-care. And today I want to talk about my skincare trend predictions for 2023. Now, every time I say 2023, I feel like I'm saying the wrong year because I just cannot believe we are this far into the 2020s, but here we are. So if you're so ready to hear my 7 skincare trend predictions, give the video a big thumbs up and let's jump right in. So the first trend that I think is going to get even bigger in 2023 is a gentler and more patient approach to skincare routines. You know, I think the craze in the late 20-teens was all about AHA, BHA exfoliation. We really got so into our chemical exfoliation. And that's, I think, what led into the skin barrier trend. Now, look, your skin barrier is the root of all good skin health. It's not a trend, but I do believe that there has been an uptick in knowledge and interest in keeping your skin barrier healthy because so many of us damaged or weakened our skin barrier from our obsession with chemical exfoliation, right? So the trends just kind of keep rolling and progressing. And I think now we are moving into a space where we are embracing a more gentle and patient, maybe even slower approach to our skincare routine, how we're using chemical exfoliation and actives, and really knowing about our skin health, our skin barrier, and allowing our skin to breathe and take a break from all those actives. You know, one of the bigger trends of 2022 that I think is actually just going to get even bigger this year is skin cycling. Now, you've probably heard about this, and I think it's a really intuitive approach to adding in chemical exfoliation and maybe even retinoids into your skincare routine without pushing your skin barrier too far. It is going to be a little bit different for everybody, but an example of skin cycling, if you haven't heard of this before, is to maybe use like a chemical exfoliant on day 1, and then on day 2 in your skincare routine you use a retinoid, and then days 3 and 4 you don't use any actives. You know, you just go in for your balancing, hydrating, moisturizing routine, but you don't use any actives to give your skin a break, and then the cycle repeats itself afterwards. And this is a great way to really work in chemical exfoliation and maybe retinoids into your skincare routine and possibly sidestepping a lot of the potential irritation or side effects when you use it too much. I think that this is a great trend. I'm even seeing this term skin cycling really starting to pick up in other areas of beauty too. I recently read an article about hair cycling. So I really see this trend just going upwards, and it's a real representation of us taking a more mindful, gentle, and patient approach to our skincare routines. My second skincare trend prediction for 2023 is that skincare is going to go below the chin. That's right, body care is making a huge splash this year. You know, it definitely started, you know, in 2022, we started to see it happening. I myself even started using a body serum from Necessaire, and I really loved it. You know, it is such a great hydrating, plumping product. I get very dry, itchy body skin, and I think a lot of that is actually due to some dehydration on my body skin. A lot of the concerns that you have on your face can actually happen on the rest of your body, and that is true for me. So I found that adding in a little bit more hydration, some more humectants that aren't necessarily present in my body lotion, putting that on before my body lotion really helps to lock in a lot more hydration, soothe the itch, soothe the dehydration, and make my body skin look so good. So I'm really on the train of this trend, but it's actually gotten even more elaborate than just basic hydration and moisturizing. I mean, Paula's Choice recently came out with a 5% niacinamide body serum, which is such a great and gentle way to target some well aging that concerns that you might have, maybe around the neck and chest area. You know, 5% of niacinamide can actually help to stimulate collagen, making it great for targeting fine lines and wrinkles, loss of elasticity. That's definitely something that many of us start to see on our neck and chest as we progress in age. But 5% of niacinamide also great to target hyperpigmentation, and that is excellent maybe if you're getting some breakouts on your back that leave dark spots behind. 5% of niacinamide is great for that. You can use it on your legs to kind of help firm up the skin. There's so many different uses, so it's great to get a targeted body product in the right type of texture that's going to sink into your skin effortlessly, not be sticky, and come in a size that's a little bit more generous for a full body application. And I recently received the Versed Retinol body lotion Lotion. I'm really excited to try this one out too. I mean, talk about targeting well aging goals, or maybe even some breakouts that you're getting as well. So I'm loving seeing these more potent active ingredients in targeted body care solutions, because the further you go with your skincare journey, the more passionate you become, the more willing you are to take that routine below the chin and take care of your full skin organ instead of just your face. And I think this trend is just going to keep getting bigger. The third skincare trend that I predict is a continuing interest in sustainability in beauty products. And we've really seen the evolution of thinking over the last like 7 or so years, because first we kind of started off with like more of the eco washing kind of marketing. If it looked a little bit more natural, it was a little bit more appealing to us. Then we really started to move into the era where we were talking about glass versus plastic. And now we're moving into a new era with sustainability. And I'm really excited to see what 2023 is going to bring on that front, especially when it comes to the packaging of beauty products. I'm already starting to see a lot more innovation in this space that gets me excited. And I think that brands are starting to take more risks. They are making more interesting choices. They're going outside of the box instead of going for the standard packaging and materials that you've used time and time again. They're really starting to look for different solutions. You know, Purito is a Korean brand that I think is making really good headway in this area. They're always kind of experimenting and trying new things. Their recent release of their Oat line is a great example of this. You know, they are using, I believe it's PCR plastic, which is creating a new plastic material from old plastic material, which I think is great. We should be reusing what already exists within the like ecosphere, right? So I love that they're kind of like creating a new life for plastic material with their bottles, and they've actually decided to go without labels directly onto the bottle, and that is less intensive on the recycling process. Another big trend that I'm excited about is refills. Now, this is something that's been around for a while, but I'm really starting to see brands really pick this up and take more chances with this. Now, speaking of Purito, again, their cleansing oil, they are now offering a refill on that. So you keep your original bottle and pump, which by the way, that pump cannot be recycled, the metal components inside of it, so that always ends up in a landfill. So this is actually giving more life for the original packaging, more life for that pump instead of just one product use, right? You are getting more uses out of something that cannot be renewed. And by filling up that cleansing oil bottle, which I think is so good, it also saves you money too. And this is great, especially for products that we don't tend to jump around a lot with, like cleansing oils. I don't tend to like move out my cleansing oils too much. Once I find what I like, I usually stick with it. So I think that this is great. Now there's a new innovation, a brand called One Skin. This is so cool. A lot of different brands are offering refills. This is just one example. So this is a moisturizer. It's a full kind of like plastic sleeve, but what's so cool is this is refillable. You just open up the cartridge like from the side, you press in, and then here is the moisturizer pack, and then this is what you would replace. So you get to keep all of the plastic components and reuse them over and over and over again as you repurchase refills. I think that this is so awesome. I think it cuts down on so much waste. I think it cuts down on production waste. I think it cuts down on plastic waste and recycling on our end. And it ultimately saves money, which I think is also great too. So I'm excited to see even more of these innovations as we go forward into 2023. My fourth prediction is clinical skincare is going to have a huge moment this year. We've been seeing the rise of this with like the popularity of CeraVe and Cetaphil drugstore brands that are very no nonsense. You know, they obviously don't have huge marketing. I mean, they have commercials and things like that, but they're not really marketing off of packaging or scent or texture. What they're really marketing their products on are just like clinically driven, like results driven formulas. They really focus in on ingredients, and they really focus in on that whole like dermatologist approved kind of like seal, right? So we've been seeing that come up in the space, and I think a lot of it has to do with affordability for sure, but I think that it's just going to explode this year because there are so many dermatologists who are entering the social media space now and who are basically like derm influencers. And not only have they been sharing their expertise with us over the last couple of years, which I think is so good, but they're now also entering the skincare space by creating launching their own brands, and we're going to see even more of this year. I mean, Sandra Lee MD, she did create her own line. I've tried quite a few of their products. This is a great example of like a clinical brand, right? Packaging is very like fuss free, not a lot of color, not a lot of like in your face, right? This is a salicylic acid cleanser. It's just driven by that one ingredient, and her products are okay. It's kind of a boring line, I have to be honest with you, but it's definitely a line that like is targeted with ingredients that are proven, that are effective. So it definitely has that dermatologist feel to it. Now, PillowTalkDerm is another derm influencer driven skincare line. This is by Dr. Shireen Idris, and I love that she has kind of taken the clinical stamp of approval a little bit further. We've got a little bit more color here, a little bit more interest with the packaging, but this is, again, no nonsense. These are ingredient driven formulas that are definitely going to give you results, and it's very like no fuss types of skincare products, really just combining the best active ingredients together to give you the most bang for your buck. So I think we're going to start to see more dermatologist backed skincare lines, but also a lot more dermatologist sponsored skincare lines and advertisements and things like that. I mean, Cosrx recently came out with their The RX line, and I talked about this a little bit. I think this is an interesting area for Cosrx to be going into, but you can't deny that, you know, it is very appealing to have these really high percentage ingredient driven formulas, like 15% of niacinamide, 23% of L-ascorbic acid. They have a couple of retinol products in their line now. So it's definitely interesting that they are really marketing this line as hashtag derm skincare. Derm meaning dermatologist skincare. And they've used a lot of dermatologist influencers to really help spread the word and to hype essentially, right, their products. But one thing I will say about this trend that I want you to think about and kind of maybe like run through your decoder as you are encountering this trend over the next year and years to come, I think we should always look at it with a grain of salt, because you know, there is such a thing as an appeal to authority. And when we are listening to, like when you're listening to me versus when you listen to a dermatologist, you might trust the dermatologist more than you trust me because they're a doctor, because they have education, they have authority. And so naturally, we just tend to go to the authority a little bit more when we think about, you know, who may be trustworthy, who's giving the best information. And so the one thing that I would say is just always look at all of this hashtag derm skincare. Look at all of this with a grain of salt, because we should always be questioning, when is somebody speaking as a doctor or as a dermatologist, and when are they speaking to us as an influencer? Because those are two separate hats that dermfluencers are definitely juggling in between. So that's my only like kind of like warning or piece of advice as we go further into the clinical skincare trend. But generally speaking, I think it's a positive thing. My fifth prediction is the line between skincare and makeup is going to become so much more blurred. You know, I am a skincare lover and I am a makeup lover. And for the longest time, these two worlds kind of clashed against each other, right? And oftentimes, like I would do all this work with my skincare and then I'd just be so afraid that I was undoing it with the types of ingredients that were in my makeup products. You know what I mean? So I love that we're starting to see more makeup products with skincare-like ingredients and skincare-like benefits. I'm loving also that there are some skincare products now that are starting to have some cosmetic makeup-like benefits too. I love that these worlds are colliding. I think it's so great. You know, pre-2020, pre-COVID, makeup was definitely a very, very bold, sharp look. The artistry of makeup is really, really celebrated around this time, and we see so much makeup looks being definitely like a full face of foundation, definitely all about contouring and sculpting the face. And I think that as we're emerging out of that era, we are still valuing lighter makeup, more breathable makeup, easier makeup, less time consuming makeup, or maybe no makeup at all, right? And I think a big trend that we're going to see is foundation free makeup. It's already been happening, but we're going to see that moving forward. We're going to see a lot of products that are designed to support that as well. So I'm loving these makeup products that have skincare like benefits. You know, one of the products that I've recently been really in love with is the Peace Out Pore Perfector primer. This is so good. It's got niacinamide and mushroom extract in it. But what's so great is it doesn't have any irritating fragrances in it or any like unnecessary ingredients, potential to irritate sensitive skin. I think that it has thought about the skin, you know, first before just the performance as a primer, which I think is awesome and something we weren't necessarily seeing before this era of time. Another product that I really like is the Youthforia Bring Your Own Blush, BYO blush. This is so cool because it's kind of like a, it's almost like a moisturizing oil, kind of glossy type of texture that you dot onto your skin and then rub it in. And it's a little bit moisturizing. It's a little bit hydrating on your skin. It's actually a color changing blush. So it just kind of like changes down to the right like flush of pink or flush of red for your skin tone, and it feels really good on the skin. It doesn't have that like thick feeling or that pasty feeling on your skin. It just blends in effortlessly, and in fact it actually looks really good on bare skin. You don't necessarily have to put it on top of foundation, which I think is so great. But then we have skincare products that have makeup like benefits too. You know, I love the Hero Rescue Balm Red Correct Cream. Now this is really a healing cream. It's meant for inflammation, it's meant for popped pimples, it's meant to help the skin to regenerate and renew itself. But when it has a little bit of that green tint in it, it helps to neutralize redness on the skin. So a couple of dots of this on your bare face, maybe you just like maybe fill in your eyebrows, do a little mascara. You've got a full, beautiful, natural face with no foundation whatsoever. Just evening out the redness on your skin can really make your complexion glow. It can make your skin look so, so good. So I'm loving that, like I can get a little bit of that healing, calming action, but I can also get a little bit of redness correction too. It's also great for helping to kind of like mask the look of like a red inflamed pimple as well. That's what it was originally designed for, but it has so many benefits. Dermatology, I think that's how you pronounce it. Dermatology is how it's spelled. But they have a universal tint sunscreen. Now, this is not new in the world of sunscreens, especially for mineral sunscreens that leave a white cast. A little bit of like a skin tint is really, really helpful to neutralizing that white cast. But this sunscreen kind of takes it a little bit further because it gives you some like light reflecting particles in here that really bounce the light, make your skin look really smooth. It's really glowy. It makes your skin look very, very dewy. And that little bit of tint definitely neutralizes the white cast, but it can also help to enhance your skin tone, kind of help even things out as well. So this is a way to get your sunscreen and maybe a little bit of a complexion perfecting effect without covering your skin in heavy concealer or heavy foundation. So this is a trend that we're going to keep seeing in 2023. I think we're actually going to see a lot more skincare products that have makeup-like benefits. I think that's really going to take off this year, but either way, I am really into it because these two worlds, they're two of my passions. I love to see them collide. My sixth prediction is we're going to see a lot more skincare focused on streamlining the skincare routine while providing multiple benefits. You know, talking about a post-2020 world, when we were all told to go into quarantine, I think a lot of us had more time on our hands, especially in the morning. For those of us who worked from home, it's like, hey, I can actually do an elaborate skincare routine in the morning instead of just like trying to like slap it all on really quick and get out the door. And so while more elaborate, multi-layered skincare routines might have been bigger in past years, I do see that the trend towards, I'm not even going to call it minimal skincare, but I'm going to call it streamlined skincare, because I don't think it's going to be about being minimal with your products, but I think it's going to be about being intentional with your products and really picking out products that help to target multiple concerns of yours, like your skin goals, but in one product. So instead of having a serum for brightening and a serum for acne and a serum for hydration and a serum for your barrier, you're going to look for one product that has all of that in one. It's going to save you time, it's going to save you money, and it's going to save you steps in your skincare routine. And that's really what I mean by streamlined. And so with that in mind, I really see two ingredients being huge this year. One is niacinamide. I know. It's always been huge. It's always been popular. It's never gone away. But I will argue that, back in like 2017, 2018, niacinamide really made a huge splash. That's really when The Ordinary came out with their 10% niacinamide serum. That is very, very affordable. It took social media by storm. I tried it. A lot of people have tried it. It's a good product. Bad texture, but it's a good product. And that's when I think a lot of people were introduced to the multitude of benefits that niacinamide can bring. Because niacinamide, we know it definitely for brightening the skin. It also strengthens your skin's moisture barrier. It helps to stimulate your own ceramides, cholesterol, and fatty acids to strengthen up your skin barrier. It helps to stimulate collagen, so it can target fine lines and wrinkles and skin elasticity. It can also help to refine the look of pores. It can help with texture. It's also an antioxidant. Like, that's actually a lot of skincare goals all in one little ingredient. And that is why I think we're going to see a lot more products with high percentages of niacinamide being released. Again, like, this is not new, but I think it's just going to come to a head and be extremely big and popular this year. I mean, Paula's Choice, 20% niacinamide is trending in popularity. Cosrx just came out with niacinamide at 15%. There's some great 10% serums out there for sure. My favorite percentage is 5%. I think we're going to see a lot more of that this year as well. And just like niacinamide in everything. And not just niacinamide, but like high percentages of it, or known percentages, I think are going to be really popular because it really scratches the itch of streamlining your skincare routine. Another ingredient that I think can get a lot done for your skin with one application is retinol. And we have seen it get so popular last year. I think it's just going to get more and more popular this year. I mean, I already talked about a retinol body lotion. We see retinol eye creams, more retinol face products, retinol body products, retinol balms, retinol sticks, retinol patches. I think that this craze is going to get even bigger. It's not just retinol, just retinoids in general. Finding products that can give you more than one benefit in one application is really going to be highly valued in 2023. And my seventh prediction is less of a prediction and more of a wish. This is something I want to see more of in the skincare community in 2023, and that is creating more intentional skincare routines and consuming skincare more mindfully. Because, I definitely just made a video all about the trends in skincare that I'm seeing coming up for this year. But at the end of the day, it really is about listening to your individual skin. All of these trends, all of these products, all of this marketing can definitely confuse you. And I think that's actually how it's built up. I think that's what it's intended to do. It's intended to keep you buying and consuming and trying lots of different products, right? And kind of continuing to spend your money. But ultimately, it can be really confusing because, maybe the trend is niacinamide, but maybe you find out that doesn't actually suit your skin. So at the end of the day, I just hope that we can cultivate more intentional skincare routines, really focusing in on what our skin is telling us and being able to tune out a lot of the hype, a lot of the trends, unless the trends like suit our lifestyle and suit our skin. I mean, I think that that's great, but at the end of the day, you have to know your skin and you have to listen to your skin. And of course, I think that once you are able to tap into your skin intuition and really trust it and follow it, I think that mindful consumption just follows, because then we're not overbuying products that we couldn't possibly put onto our face, in the time that it takes for that skincare to expire, right? Yes, skincare does expire, but also just like living within our budget and within our means and not buying more or consuming more than we possibly need to. I think if you listen to your skin intuition, you're more easily able to say no to those types of things. That's really what I hope for. I hope for just more mindfulness, more skin intuition, more embracing of individuality within the skincare community. And I think that I'm seeing it already. And so I hope that it picks up. And I hope the biggest trend of 2023 is skin intuition. So if you have any skincare trend predictions for this year, let me know in the comment box below. If you love the video, you watched it all the way through and you're not subscribed to my channel yet, please take a moment to hit subscribe before you take off. I release a lot of new skincare content throughout the week, full-length videos and shorts, so turn on notifications so you're never out of the loop. I hope you are really healthy, happy, and safe. I'm so glad you were with me here today, and I'll see you in the next video. I love you so much. Bye.